Krishna. Personally, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. Wonderful program established by Srila Prasad. Come together in Harinam Sankirtan and Sri Krishna Prasad and Krishna Sita. So tonight I'd like to read from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 46. Yavanata Pudapane Sabata Samprutotake Tavan Sabishu Vedishu Brahmanasya Vijanata. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Repeat. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Purport. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kanda division of Vedic literature are meant to encourage gradual development of self-realization. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15:15. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna, the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15:7. Living entities are parts and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:33-7 as follows. Aho vata swata choto gadiyanya yashivage vatate nam studyam ekustapuste juhur sasnarajya brahmanushur. O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born in a low family, like that of a Chandala, is situated on the highest platform of self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of people, Aryan family. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdom for better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of Vedic rituals. Nor is it possible to study all the Vedanta and the Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purposes of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by the great Vedic scholar Prakashananda Saraswati why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of studying Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool, and thus asked him to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. He did so, and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, one must In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand the Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom. And the author and the knower of the Vedanta who takes pleasure philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of Vedic mysticism. So this verse means that if you have a great reservoir, you have all the purposes of lower bodies, of a river, of a well. You have a great lake. You can serve all the purposes of so many other different bodies of water. And if you have the greatest person, you can serve all the purposes of personal relationships, understanding, supreme, loving interchanges. Everything can take place in relation to Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhu mata sarvam bhavati. Krishna says, I am the source of everything material and spiritual. Therefore, if he, of course, being the source of everything spiritual, we can understand Krishna is existing eternally in the spiritual world. But how Krishna, he being the source of everything, that means that we should understand that everything is for his purpose. I was making this point yesterday. If you create something, you make something, it has a purpose. Nobody creates something for nothing. And so the goal of human life is to understand to the deepest degree possible what is that purpose and execute it. Just like we all live in whatever country we live in, there's some system of government and they have rules, things you should do, things you shouldn't do. And if you follow that, then you're a good citizen. And in the same way, Krishna has laws of what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But what you should do is totally spiritual. And what you shouldn't do in Krishna consciousness may be what other people consider to be something very elevated, very high. But the real purpose of everything is to please Krishna. So this verse is emphasizing that Krishna, everything is included in Krishna, and Krishna is included in the holy name. Abhinatvam Namanami. There's no difference between Krishna and his name. And therefore, when we chant the holy name of Krishna, just like some devotees are worshiping the deity, everyone bows down to the deity. But the holy name is a manifestation much more direct than even the deity, who is Krishna himself. And the holy name is Krishna. But the holy name can penetrate and in places where the form of the Lord cannot enter, cannot occupy, because his form has a specific purpose of accepting service. Where the holy name has a specific purpose of carrying with him non-prabhu, the full understanding and realization of the holy name, of everything about spiritual science. It's all contained in the holy name, and the holy name takes it to everyone. Therefore this verse that we just read is emphasizing the Holy Name. Sri Sanatana Goswami, he said about the holy name that Jayati Jayati Namananda Ruppam Murari. All glories to that form of the Lord that comes in the shape of the holy name. That such a special manifestation, Viramita, Nija Dharma, Dhyana, Pujadi, that the holy name is greater than any dharma. All dharmas are included. Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita that we should all surrender to Him. And the holy name takes us beyond dharma, beyond the welfare activities for others, dharma, jhana, beyond meditation, and pujadi, beyond the rituals and sacrifices of the Vedas. Such a great manifestation of the Lord. Katam api sarvitham tam muktidam pranina. That means that even though the holy name is so powerful, so all-pervasive, still it's so merciful that even if you chant it once, meaning once with some attention, some sincerity, then immediately the very life of your existence will be awakened. Paramam amritam ekam jivanam bhushanam. Sanatana Goswami, he said that this is the highest nectar that exists, the only purpose of my life, and ekam bhushanam, and the only ornament I have. Just like many of us use different ornaments, rings, jewelry, nowadays, little things sticking all through your ears and nose, and anywhere you can find some extra skin. When we think or we hope that this will make us more beautiful. But Krishna makes everything more beautiful. Otherwise, Krishna makes his clothing more beautiful. So we think like that. That yes, I can become more beautiful, especially if it's dark. But Krishna, it's never dark. He has jewels. The jewels on his body are effulgent, but that effulgence is coming from Krishna. Krishna channels his effulgence, especially when he's a young child and a baby. His effulgence goes through his jewels so that people don't see him as the Supreme Personality of God. Because he wants to have his pastimes like a small child. So therefore, his energy, his effulgence goes into his jewels, into his clothing, or into something else. And therefore people think he's an ordinary child. One time Krishna was, one thief had heard about Krishna, that he had the most beautiful jewels. And so the thief approached Krishna. But when he saw Krishna's beauty, he was a little humble. First he was thinking, I'll just kill him and take his jewel. When he saw Krishna, he saw something very powerful. Just like Putana. When Putana approached Krishna, she saw his great power, his unparalleled beauty and his great power. And she thought, this is not going to be as easy as I thought. and turned out to leave her body. She went back home, back to God. So this thief, he said, my dear child, please give me your jewel. And he said, no, my mother will punish you. And he said, no, if you just give me your jewels, I'll talk to your mother. I'm sure she'll understand. No, I will get into trouble. I can't give you my jewel. So that went on for some time. And then, finally, Krishna said, all right, you can have my jewel. But then the thief said, after seeing your beautiful lotus eyes and your beautiful lips like bimba fruit and your beautiful features, I don't want the jewel because I found the real jewel. And he became a devotee of Krishna. So, Krishna is the real ornament. Krishna is the real objective. Just like we worship so many things in this world, although we may not see that we're worshiping, but we're actually worshiping. If you dedicate, 8, 10 hours a day to making money, you're worshiping. You're thinking this is something very special. If I only had more. And so we worship so many things, but they're all included in Krishna. This is the purpose of this verse. Anything that you think is worthwhile is already there in Krishna. You'll find everything in Krishna. And even yoga, the yoga process, and even the yoga, meditation, or karma kanda, anything you can imagine. So therefore, why not approach Krishna? Why not approach Krishna? And especially here, it's mentioned, why don't we approach Krishna through his holy name? Krishna Goswami glorifies very wonderfully. Nam Ananda, this blissful activity of chanting the holy name. And in the Skanda Purana, it also says, Madhura Madhuram Etan Mangalam Mangalam, that the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of all sweet things and the most auspicious of all auspicious things. And Sakala Nidama Bali Sakalan Chit, that the holy name of Krishna is the ripened fruit, the transcendental, eternal ripened fruit of all the Vedas and all the Shastras. And Chit Swarupam. It is the highest manifestation of spiritual energy. As also stated in the Puranas, Namachinat Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. That the holy name of Krishna is like Chintamani. Chintamani means a particle of spiritual substance. And actually, in the Shastras, it says that one particle of dust of Goloka Vrindavan is more valuable than all the riches in the whole creation, all the three worlds, and all universes. One particle of dust. That's how powerful that Krishna's Dham is, what to speak of Krishna himself. So, then, Sakritapi Parigitam, that this holy name of Krishna, even if it's chanted once, Paragita means chanted once but with some sincere feeling. But so that sincerity, if it's Shraddhaya, done with great faith, Helaya, done with some negligence, either way, it will have an effect. And some people may ask, how can it have an effect if it's chanted unconsciously or with negligence? That means if you're beginning, if you don't understand the glories of the holy name, because it's also mentioned in Padma Purana that once you understand the greatness of Krishna in the form of His holy name, then you should then you should worship him properly and not cultivate more material. Up to that point, even if you chant with negligence, you will be benefited. Just like if a dog crosses the street in front of the traffic, there's no fine. You can't find the dog. Run him over, but you can't find him. And so, I mean, not purposely. So, but if a human being runs out in the middle of the road, then he can be fined because he has a greater responsibility. So, once we understand, that's why some people don't want to come to class, because then they'll be forced to take another step in Krishna consciousness. So if I don't go and I don't hear it, then I'm like, an animal on the street. The rules don't apply. But no, we have a great responsibility as human beings. And to not use the human form of life responsibly is a great, it is a great price for doing that, for not taking advantage of the human life. It's meant, as it says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like a boat that can take us to the other side of the ocean of birth and death. So we should try to, and it's like, and that boat has favorable winds called the Vedas. And the sails are made of austerities and penance. And the captain of the boat is the spiritual master to take us beyond the realm of life. So if we use this human body properly, then we'll be greatly better. So the holy name, Vigavaram, Nara Matram, Tare Krishna Nama. Anyone who takes advantage of this holy name of Krishna can cross over the ocean of worldly existence. So this is the holy name of Krishna. Now, a few months ago, some very senior devotees in Dallas, Texas, they invited me to participate, but I couldn't come. They did a little exercise to find out what are the 5 most important words in the English language. Anyone know what those 5 are? Probably not. Anyway, this is just an evaluation. So the first most important word is mentor. Because mentor means guide, teacher, or spiritual master. So the duty of a mentor is to not just to teach some knowledge, but to teach that knowledge with the desire that the person becomes elevated. It's not like a profession where you teach, you get paid, and you just have to do the minimum or whatever is necessary to teach some pre-digested or prefabricated knowledge. But a mentor actually wants the student or the follower or whatever, or the disciple, to become more accomplished. Just like many of you have children. So anyone who has children thinks, I want my children to be more fortunate than me. I don't want them to have to go through the same struggles as I went. I don't want them to have to suffer to make money as I did. People generally leave an inheritance to help their children. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurts, depending on how intelligent we are. But the point is that we all want our dependent to become greater. Srila Prabhupada said that my greatest desire is that my disciples become more advanced than me. My greatest desire. So, the mentor has a great responsibility to make sure that what does it mean to become greater than Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, there was never a moment in my life when I didn't remember Krishna. I never committed one sin in my life. So to become greater than Prabhupada is not an easy task. But that's his desire. Because where does that desire come from? It comes from Krishna. Because Krishna wants his devotee to be superior to him. In the spiritual world, everyone is on Krishna's case. Everyone. Either the cows are demanding more attention from Krishna, the trees and the plants are begging Krishna with the dust of his lotus feet. His friends are wrestling with him and defeating him, and sometimes taking away his lunch, sometimes taking away the food from his mouth. And his parents are chastising him, and the gopis are humiliating him in a transcendental way. So everyone, Krishna wants every one of his devotees to be in a superior position, even though they may be servants, like Rakta, his two greatest servants. But he wants them to be in a superior position. He wants to serve them. So therefore, anyone who represents Krishna, they also want everyone to be in a greater position. Otherwise, they're not representing Krishna. Because that's what Krishna wants. But of course, we can't try to take advantage of that and say, oh, Krishna wants me to be in a superior position, and therefore I'll do it. No problem on my part. Devoting everything. So the mentor, that's a very important word because it is the active principle. Krishnadas Kaviraj Swami says, the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. What engages us, what makes our spiritual life fructify. And then the second most important word is energy. And the third most important word is attraction. And the fourth most important word is pleasure. And the fifth is service. So how do we understand these? This is actually the Mahamantra. First of all, the Mahamantra comes from the mentor, comes from the spiritual guide, comes from the spiritual master. And the ability to chant comes from the energy. What is the greatest energy of the Lord? The greatest energy. The greatest energy that comes from Krishna. Srimati Radharani. Very good. So great that that energy comes before Krishna. We say Hare Krishna. We don't say Krishna Hare. No. Hare Krishna. As they say in English, ladies first. So we say Hare Krishna. The energy of the Lord, this energy inspires us. Srimati Radharani, by her devotional potency, inspires us to come to Krishna's lotus feet. And what does Krishna mean? All attractive. So the Mahamantra means Hare, the energy, Krishna, the all attractive. When we feel the energy of the Lord, we become enlivened, we become absorbed. We see that what is that energy doing? It is serving Krishna's desire. Even though Krishna wishes that energy, his associates, his expansion, his spiritual expansions in the form of devotees, he wants to see them in a superior position, but they are actually coming from him. And then, so when we understand that, and we chant the Mahamantra in such a way, O energy of the Lord, O my Lord, please attract me to this process of bhakti. And then what will happen? Rama, pleasure. The pleasure that comes from Krishna. How does the devotee experience that pleasure? Chanting, dancing, taking prasad. So many different ways. Even cleaning the floor, if you're advanced enough. Actually, you have to be very advanced to experience great transcendental bliss while cleaning the floor or cleaning the pots. Cleaning the pots, you may think, oh, that's just for some worker. No, it's a very great opportunity to advance in devotional life, especially if you're deriving pleasure from it. If you're thinking, what a drudgery, I have to clean the pot. Then you're not getting access to the energy of Krishna. You're not being attracted to Krishna. Because if you're really attracted to Krishna, you will do anything for his pleasure. And that pleasure gives you pleasure. And then the last item, service. All of those things bring us to the platform of service. So how did Srila Prabhupada define the holy name? O my Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So when we have these factors, the spiritual master, spiritual guide, spiritual personality that introduces us or enlivens us in the chanting of the holy name, then we have access to Krishna's internal energy. That internal energy makes us forget about all of our material ambitions, desires, and problems. Because when you actually feel the internal energy of the Lord, then there are no problems. Problems are for those who are meditating in Maya. When you're meditating on Krishna, there's no problem. As Krishna, as it's said by Narada Muni, that Devarshi Bhutatan Vinam that when a person actually surrenders to Krishna, Nayam Vini. But anyway, when one actually surrenders to Krishna, that one actually Sarvakmanam Yat Sharanam Sharanyam, when you surrender to the shelter of everyone, then you have no debts to the demigods, to the sages, to elders, to dependents, to people in general, because you're surrendered to Krishna. You simply have a duty to serve Him. That doesn't mean we come to Krishna consciousness and we think, why I owe the bank so much, but now I don't owe them anything. It doesn't work like that. And the bank also won't accept that shloka payment. You can't use that. But it means that we have no obligation. So, this is the nature of spiritual energy. We become more and more attracted to Krishna. We feel more pleasure in spiritual life. And we want to do more service. So these things, when we're chanting the holy name, the point is these things should become manifest in our heart, in our being, in our consciousness. And that will take us closer and closer to Krishna. Because these things should be happening. That's why I'm mentioning them. It gives us a possibility, a point of reference, a way to measure. Am I advancing in Krishna consciousness? Am I progressing in Krishna consciousness? So, by these things, as Srila Prabhupada says here, in this age of Kali, one needs the holy name and needs this process and needs this understanding. Otherwise, we won't make any progress. If you try to do it the Vedic way, meaning the ways that are prescribed in the Vedas. And even Arjuna says, Pragunya Vishaya Vedam is Pragunya Bhava. That Arjuna, be careful with the Vedas, because the Vedas prescribe so many things, but most of those things are situated within the three modes of nature. And I want you to go to Satvashto, Nirbandho Chasakrishto. I want you to go beyond duality and be fixed in pure transcendental goodness. So these are recommendations that are given in the scriptures, given in this verse, for the upliftment of the living being. So if we can remember these 5 words, some devotees work very hard to try to extract these words. Every word has some significance, especially in Sanskrit. Words have so many meanings. But every word in any language, if you relate it to Krishna, this was Jiva Goswami's way of teaching Sanskrit grammar. He would relate everything to Krishna. Then it would become very relishable, very palatable. And one would learn with great enthusiasm because the learning process itself was spiritualized and was purified, very purified. So we can take anything and we could relate it to Krishna. Anything. We can figure a way to relate it to Krishna. And that is the best way that one can use one's human intelligence. How can I relate this to Krishna? How can I see this in terms of Krishna consciousness? This should be our constant endeavor in our spiritual life, our constant endeavor to progress beyond the material consciousness that we live in, being overwhelmed, either overwhelmed or overcome by material nature. Both. That material nature is very strong. It keeps us in the bodily concept. And in the bodily concept, we think that the whole purpose of life is to take care of my family. And taking care of family is a great responsibility, and everyone must do it. But it's not the highest goal of life. It is just like we have a responsibility to our body every day to put food into the body. But that doesn't mean it's the highest value in life. The highest value is to learn how to love Krishna, learn how to serve Krishna with great enthusiasm and progress constantly in our spiritual life. These are some different thoughts on this particular verse. Srila Prabhupada mentions that if one understands what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaishta Sarvarahami Eva Vedyogi, Vedanta Veda Eva Chaham. Krishna says that the whole purpose of the Vedas is to know me. So if we're reading the Vedas or understanding the Vedas or trying to understand the Vedas through the Vedanta of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to come to the point of seeing that it's pointing to Krishna. And how does Krishna know that? How does Krishna know? Because Krishna says, Vedanta Vid, that I am the knower of the Vedas. I am the creator of the Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas. And therefore, I know the purpose of the Vedas. Not only do I know them, but I make them. They manifest for me. So, the purpose of Vedic knowledge is to come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. And if we can do that, if we can come to the platform of Krishna consciousness, then our life becomes very blissful. Then we won't be so concerned about external things in life. But we will simply try to cultivate this wonderful treasure. Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. It is said by Narottam Das Thakur that the greatest treasure in life is the holy name. Because it's the only treasure that you can take with you. The only treasure that you can always have. You can always have access to. Just like someone may have, about a year ago, a year and a half ago, some hackers broke into one big credit organization, or shows you credit. And they got they got millions and millions of accounts. And they started emptying them out. So just imagine if you had one of those accounts. You have 600,000 TT and you go to the bank and there's nothing. And they can't explain it. They can't figure it out. They actually made it look like that each person withdrew it themselves. So all these people were going to the bank and saying, "Where's my money?" "What do you mean, where's your money? You withdrew it?" So finally they caught up. They didn't catch the person, but they caught what was happening. So the point is that we can't, we have to be, anything else in this world, we have to give it up. But the holy name and Krishna consciousness, those things, they stay with us, life after life. And hopefully that the life after life is to go back home back to God. That is the purpose of human life. That is what we should do as human beings. So, this is what's being said here. That if you come to Krishna, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that if you have faith in Krishna, that faith has a specific characteristic. Shraddha Sabde Vishvasya Kate Sudvidha Nishchaya. Krishna Bhakti Haya Sarvakarma. That the real understanding of faith means that I know that if I serve Krishna, all the subsidiary activities, everything else that is happening in my life will be taken care of. Now that doesn't mean that we sit back with a coconut in a hammock, Krishna will take care of everything. It means that I understand that if I learn the science of dedicating my thoughts, words, and deeds to Krishna, then Krishna will give me success. If I find the means to do it. And I need to do that. I need to find the means to dedicate everything to Krishna. Then I will do it. So, this is the message, basic message of this verse. Srila Prabhupada gives his wonderful purport, and somehow or another, like I would recommend, whenever you come to a class, afterwards, read the same text and see if it can sink in deeper into your consciousness, into your being, and it can become a real lesson in life. When we hear something, I always do this when I hear a class. Afterwards, I go and read the verse again, read the purport, and try to meditate on what the person said. And then it becomes embedded in one's life, in one's consciousness, one's memory. So then it's always a useful tool. But if you don't just go to appear, like cannon fodder, I'm there, but I'm not there, then you'll get some benefit, but you won't get much. We have to really try to hear this message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and take advantage of it. So these are some thoughts on this verse. I'll stop here. Are there any questions? Any questions? Any comments? Did the schedule change or something? Oh, there you go. I was waiting to see the man with the All glory to Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, Sri